It inspires me.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Good morning, Northeast Radio SD, Watertown, South Dakota. We're live in studio. We've got some new special guests with us today. We've got the Watertown Lacrosse Club in studio. So we've got President Eric Scott with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Then we have the treasurer, Christy Kallenberger. Did I say that all right?
Yes, you did. Good morning.
All right. Good morning. Thank you for joining us too. So we appreciate you guys. I think we're going to learn about lacrosse. Well, not we. Maybe we, Doreen and I, but you guys are going to have to educate us a little. But Eric, you kind of, from what I understand, you kind of are like a founder of lacrosse, bringing it to Watertown, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I was one of the founding members, but actually saw it on Facebook. A gentleman from Sioux Falls was trying to get it started in all the communities that had hockey throughout South Dakota so that they would have more teams to play. So saw a little post on Facebook saying you could, sign up. Went downstairs and asked my now junior in college, who was 10 years old at the time, if he was interested in playing lacrosse. And he's, "Oh yeah, Dad, can I?" I was like, "Okay, well, yeah, we'll get you signed up and let the through the registration, which was just through Facebook instant messaging, let that coach know I was coaching hockey and I'd be willing to help out." Not knowing he was out of Sioux Falls and there was nobody locally. And so through that kind of ended up being the guy that he leaned on to help get it started. A couple other gentlemen from the area that had a little experience also started at the same time. And yeah, we just kind of played around a little bit, learned the game that year, and it just kind of grew steadily from that point on.
Wow. How long has that been then now you've kind of been around?
Yeah, so I think it's been maybe 11 years now, maybe 10, somewhere in there, 10, 11, 12. But wow. I have to go back and look at the Facebook post from when I took a picture of Ethan and his equipment for the first time to date it. But awesome. He looks a lot different now than he did in that first picture. But
I bet. Yeah. So lacrosse, for those that might not be familiar, is there kind of like a little overview of the sport? And within locally, is it, do you have like the girls league and boys league and stuff? How does that kind of work out?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have girls and boys. Our girls team started a few years ago, and we had a few girls that were playing with the boys before that, but they split off and had their own team. And we've been fortunate enough and had a lot of good athletes and still do. Mm-hmm. We've won a couple state championships on the girls side the last 2 years running. And so that's been fun. And then the boys, we've been going for 10 years, and it just so slowly started with, like, I think we had that first year we just kind of threw the ball around and learned the sport. Then we had a 12U team, then we added 14U, then JV, then varsity, and then it grew from there. Yeah, and then the girls was kind of the last one that got added on and that the league started offering. Lacrosse is a sport. It's played on a soccer field or similar size to a soccer field. The dimensions are a little bit different. We play with essentially there's 10 players on the field, a goalie, and then there's 3 defensemen that can't go past the halfway point of the field. There's 3 middies that can go the entire field, and then there's 3 attack. They call that position that it only plays on the offensive side of the field. A little bit similar to hockey so except for with a stick and running around, but trying to find open space, trying to get your hands free where you can get a shot off and score.
So in the ball, that is what they call it, is just the ball?
Yep, it's a ball. Yep, and it's about the same density as a hockey puck. So like it's a tennis ball size. It's about the consistency of a hockey puck. It's got a little more bounce to it. If you throw it at the ground, it'll bounce back up to you, but you really don't want to get hit by it. Yeah. And one of the strange things about lacrosse is the goalies wear only a chest pad and a helmet, and they don't wear usually leg pads or anything else like a hockey goalie. So fortunately, the save percentages aren't as good as they are in hockey, so they don't get hit as much, but they get hit plenty, and they put their bodies in the way. So they say you got to be nuts to be a hockey goalie. You really got to be nuts to be a lacrosse goalie.
Yeah, wow. Like, so can you, so similar to soccer, like since you have the stick, you can't like catch it with your hands or any of that kind of stuff. That's all you can use is that net then. And if you're a goalie, is it the same way, or do they have a stick or?
Yeah, so the goalie does have a stick. It's a little bit bigger. The think of a fish net, it's about that size of a head for the goalie.
Whoa.
And that's, of course, they're trying to use their stick more to make saves than their body.
Yeah.
But they are throwing their body in harm's way.
Yeah.
Whatever they can do to get anything to keep the ball out, they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get plenty of bruises, but. And they can use a stick. They can use, I think, their hands. I've never seen that. Usually both hands are on the stick, but I think a goalie could use whatever body part they want to keep the ball out, but they can't like grab the ball and throw it with their hand. They throw it with the stick. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of like they like snap that thing. That's how they kind of throw it, right?
Yeah.
So,
you got the motion right. You're ready to go.
I only remember.
You want a coach? We need coaches.
Just from the movie, like I think, like American Pie, one of the guys played.
Yep.
That's the only
Stifler,
thing I can kind of remember.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
So Christy, you have a kid that plays, right? So
I have a 15-year-old son that plays.
15. So, and is also in hockey, right?
Correct. And it was kind of a interesting crossover, and that's how we got involved. Eric, when Caleb was younger, tried getting me to get Caleb to start playing, and eventually we're like, yeah, okay, let's give it a try. And that was like 4 years ago. So, it's been fun. My favorite part of it, obviously, as a mom or parent, is where this is different than hockey. Everybody goes to the same tournament together. Like all levels, we will travel to Bismarck for the weekend, or we'll travel to Fargo. So it makes it so much more fun, and you get to know more of the families and everybody. So it's been a fun little journey and very quick season too.
Yeah.
So we're done beginning of June, and then we have the rest of our summer.
Wow. And right now you're kind of in the midst. Did you just open registrations then for this coming season? Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah, registrations. Well, it's been open for about a month for the current people. So now we're doing the push of, come check it out. We do have the registration, or we'll start the first week of May, May 30th, first week of April, weather permitting. We'll be out at Mount Hope Fields. Come by and check it out. Come watch the kids. If you have younger kids that, if they're sporty and they love the contact sports and they love to run and they love to throw, come on out, check it out at the fields. And, we'd love to even, give your kid a stick and ball and let them toss it around a little.
What have you gotten feedback from your son about what he thinks in between the two sports, hockey and lacrosse?
Him himself, he's a hockey boy, that's for sure. But I definitely know like a lot of his friends that do play hockey that also play lacrosse are more into lacrosse. And what I think is great about lacrosse is your ability to move higher up into the college level. There's a stronger chance of that with lacrosse around here. A lot of the colleges do have either club hockey, or if you go to Nebraska, they actually have teams in Minnesota. So yeah, it's a surprisingly growing sport up here in this area.
Very cool. Do you guys know if like they have professional lacrosse teams and so on too?
Oh yeah, there's Premier Lacrosse League is the most popular league. There's also like Major League Lacrosse, which is indoor lacrosse, is played in a hockey rink with 5 players, and that's a little bit different. But field lacrosse is the Premier Lacrosse League, and they have, I think, 8 teams throughout the U.S. That was kind of a startup league a few years ago, probably 5-6 years ago now. But my family watched. So I've got 3 children that play. 2 are now in college. but we've been into Premier Lacrosse for a few years, ever since that league started up, and it is fun to watch. It's a fast moving sport. I think that's one of the things we enjoy about lacrosse, or our family, is that there's a typical game score might be 15-12 or 18-16 or something like that, instead of 2-3. And so it's not quite like basketball where you're scoring every 20-30 seconds, which there's nothing wrong with that either. Basketball is also entertaining, but hockey, soccer, typical score is 2-3, something like that. So there's a little more reason to get up on your feet and cheer during a lacrosse game, and that's fun to see too.
Yeah. It does seem like I just picture in my head a lot of action and back and forth. I'm guessing, especially with that little ball, that thing's got to shoot and go all the way across the field almost. And some of those, are they pretty good at passing then? Is that is dribbling a term? Or something?
Cradling is what we call it. And so, I don't know what, people can see in the studio, but as you were throwing earlier, envision a stick in your hand and you cradle it as you run, which the centrifugal force keeps the ball in the head of the stick. And that's how you run. And then, they get really good at passing. And, I was up at NDSU watching a game a couple nights ago. My son plays up there, and, especially those kids, they can pass almost the entire length of the field and just hit their buddy down the field on a dime. So,
and they can catch it in the little net.
Yep.
All the way down there.
Yeah, and the goalie stick again is like a fish net, but the normal player stick is I'm trying to figure out what about the size of your shoe, probably.
Wow.
So
wow.
You mentioned college. Scholarships are available in lacrosse as well, right?
For sure. We've got a couple kids that have gone on to, where did Sawyer Trowbridge go? He's like somewhere on the I wouldn't say on the coast, but he went east. I think he's in like North Carolina or something like that. And then, there's a school or two in Nebraska that offer scholarships. And then, throughout, there's not a lot of schools right in the Midwest. But NDSU has a club lacrosse team that's called the MCLA Lacrosse, and it's super competitive, and the kids can stay closer to home. And they're fun to watch. They're entertaining, and it's a good time.
Yeah. I want to say like Drew Carey's involved with lacrosse somehow or another, but I could be wrong, because I think I tried this with soccer and I messed it up too, but I know it's lacrosse. I'm pretty sure. And I think it's like a Minnesota team even or something like that. But anyways, so like this Premier League, like then they have, that's like the National League then? Is that kind of how that works? And then they have a championship and so on?
Yep. Yeah. So they're the PLL, Premier Lacrosse League, started as actually Paul Rabel, who would be like the Michael Jordan of lacrosse.
Okay.
He was the most popular player, one of the only ones making, decent money playing professional lacrosse. And I think it was called the National Lacrosse League at the time or something. Anyways, he split off on his own, decided to start this Premier Lacrosse League, made all of the players part owners in the league, and changed a few of the rules. They added a 2-point circle, which again, picture a basketball court. It's like just an arc that's further out. So if you score from, I think it's 30 yards or 30 meters, I can't remember which, if they're on Imperial or what, but if they score from that far out, they can score 2 points. So anyways, he changed a few of the rules, made it more dynamic, did some more, I'd say modern day promoting of it. And when they first started, they had 6 teams. And the teams actually weren't affiliated with the community. And so what they still do now, after a few years, they decided to affiliate with communities. So like one's out of Denver, one's out of California, one's out of New York. But they travel to one community for a weekend, and then they'll play like 4 games. There's 8 teams. They'll play 4 games in that community that weekend. And then they go to the next community. So they'll be in Minneapolis, like the end of July, I think. And then they're in Denver in August, and then on to California. They do an East Coast tour, but it's pretty interesting. So if you want to go watch a game or games in Minnesota, you can go catch 4 games in a weekend instead of just going to watch 1 game.
Oh,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, very cool. And then as the season goes, they have their own championship or whatever, I suppose, and kind of Man, we should get a South Dakota team. Are you on that already then? Getting that ready?
Yeah, just like any sport, it takes a big market, a lot of people. And so,
I bet. Yeah, even football and all that stuff. South Dakota's just, it seems like they're real close, but maybe, who knows? Maybe lacrosse is the way to break out into the sports market.
I'll look into it. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Did you have some more questions?
As a mom, we were talking earlier off air about how you run, you know, and moms are usually the ones that organize everything. So is that how you got voted onto the board? Is because you're going to be the organizer or what?
You know, honestly, if I'm ever right, it was Jamie when I signed up my kid. I know Jamie Schlatt through hockey, and she was like, hey, you know, come to a meeting. I'm like, all right, I'll come. And then the next thing I know, I'm on the board and I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, of course, at first I knew nothing about the sport. So but I am like the social butterfly mom. And so I love it. Or when we go places, I like to organize things and plan where we're staying or the meals. So I've done that. And then I've also been the team coordinator for a lot of it too. So for each level my son's in, I'll be the one that kind of sends out the messages of, you know, just a reminder, we got practice, or you need to bring this, or, you know, hey, we need volunteers, because of course, as a parent, you get to do a little bit extra. So you get to sit at the score table and help either, you know, keep track of the time or the score of the game. We always need the parents to help with that, and they love it. But yeah, I said it's just a fun sport, and you know what's South Dakota weather. You never know if it's gonna be raining, snowing, or 95 degrees out there. But we're all tough and we roll with it. And
yeah, you guys all play outside, right? In your league, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
We've been practicing indoors on Sundays, just kind of for fun and to throw the ball around. But the game is played outdoors, and it's about the size of a soccer field.
Do you know if anybody like Adam Sandler goes in front of like one of those ball throwers just to get used to getting hit with one of those? I just kind of pictured myself doing that. You know,
ouch,
getting hit with the ball so you can get used to it a little, maybe get some calluses.
Like
Don't do that
a
anymore.
Johnny Knoxville.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the goalies do on a daily basis. So we try to treat them nice in practice, but it's always like, hey, shoot for the corners, don't hit the goalie. Center mass in practice.
You almost need someone there, so as a player you can practice, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're gonna have to go back in there when you do. Are there you have penalties, and like, is there a penalty box like hockey? People get kicked out, or are there flags, or?
They use a flag, just like they would in football to call penalties. Similar to hockey, it's a delayed penalty, where if you have possession and the other team gets a penalty, they'll allow play to go on until you lose possession. And then go different from hockey. Yeah, and I don't know if people listening aren't into hockey, then this probably helps. But usually there's the delayed penalty. But in hockey, if you score a goal during the delayed penalty, they call the penalty off. They don't call the penalty off in lacrosse. So that free possession, if there's a penalty and you still have the ball, can be a really nice possession, because hopefully you can score a goal on that, and then you can go get another goal. Or, you know, at least you'll be a man up, or a lady up, as it were, for a little bit. The penalty box is actually just so they have like a score table right in the middle on one side of the field, and you just go, there's a little area that's kind of roped off, or there's a cone that just marks the corner of it, and you just take a knee in that box, and the person at the score table, when your penalty's up, says, get back out there, and then you go.
They run out.
So then is your team down that person, or can you throw anybody substitute at any time?
No, you're down one person, or you can be down, I think, only up to two, because remember, you're only in the offensive zone. You're only going to have, or your defensive zone, if you're trying to kill a penalty most of the time. The three attack people have to stay on their side of the field. So when you're a person down, you're down to 5 people on that side of the field. The other team will have 6. And if you're 2 down, then it's 6 on 4. So
yeah, not good. So that whole side of the field could be completely down to just one guy or one individual trying to kind of cover or take care
Cover
of that.
three,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. That's really interesting. And so when do you guys start? Kind of the first game starts playing usually?
Yeah, so the varsity, the older kids are going to start practice on March 30th, and we're out at Mount Hope Field. If anybody wants to check it out, they can always swing by on Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday from 6 to 8. We practice. So the older kids will start March 30th. The younger kids will start. What did we decide? It's like April 13th. 2 weeks
Sounds
later.
right.
Yep, April 13th.
Yeah, April 13th.
And then our first games, we've got a couple preseason games with Sioux Falls at the end of April. I think that's the 26th. Is that right?
25th.
25th. Okay. And then that following week, our NPLL schedule starts, I believe, in Rapid City, but we'll have 5 different weekends, NPLL weekends, where we travel to Bismarck, to Rapid City, Fargo, Grand Forks, and then Watertown. When's our Watertown tournament?
Our Watertown tournament is May 30th and 31st. And we do that out at the Anza soccer fields.
Okay. And so then you're bringing all those clubs here then.
Correct.
Watertown.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all right.
And we play out at the Anza complex where the soccer team plays too. So
Mhm.
the soccer goes on. So
So then you got to adapt the field a bit for lacrosse. And
Yeah.
are the goals the same as soccer?
no,
net?
they're in a different spot. They're kind of up in the middle of the field instead of on the back line or the perimeter.
Oh,
And they paint a crease around them. It's a big 9-yard circle that just goes around the goal. And they're about the size of they're the width of a hockey goal, and they're 2 foot taller. So they're 6 foot by 6 foot.
oh, so you got to swap out the goal itself and then kind of change the field up a little.
Mhm.
Yep.
Wow. All the legwork you guys do just so your kids can be happy and enjoy sports and learn camaraderie.
Right.
Jeepers. I mean, but really it is, what we won't do for our kids and the whole experience of, would one of them go professional? I don't know, but they definitely have that experience that in their life they'll never, they'll always have. So
Yeah.
I think
And
that's pretty cool.
the friends they make and the experiences. And, when you travel to these towns, I always try to find something else to do, something to see, because, how often are you going to be up in Bismarck, North Dakota? So
Mhm.
that's what's fun too. And then you get along. Like I said, what's great about lacrosse is if you do have 2-3 kids in the sport, you aren't really necessarily dividing and conquering. You are all traveling the same weekend to the same place. And then you can do a little family thing versus splitting up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go
It
ahead.
does become a lot of fun for the whole family. And yeah, we had 3 in hockey and lacrosse for most of our kids, entire youth. And that was one thing. 2 things we loved about lacrosse is, of course, the season is so short that you just get started and you're like, oh, it's over already. like parents will ask, we're asking, like, can we go somewhere else? Can we go like just one more weekend? Because you're just not quite ready for it to end, especially when you're used to a hockey season that's really long. And then the other thing that was really nice when our kids were playing hockey, which we loved hockey, but there was one weekend I was in Rapid City and my wife was in Wisconsin, and then my youngest son was probably with Christy somewhere else in North Dakota. So
Yeah.
you're just spread all over the place and you hardly see each other during hockey season. You meet, you're meeting each other coming and going. But with lacrosse, we all go to Bismarck for the weekend as an entire family.
Mhm.
You might have to upgrade from the little SUV to the Suburban to get all the equipment and all the kids in there. But it was just super nice to all be in the same place. And then, all of the friends and families that you meet. It's just as much fun, I think, for the parents as it is for the kids. And of course, we love watching our kids out there running around playing, but yeah, we have fun during and after the game as well.
Awesome. And it's the Watertown Warriors, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, I think that's awesome. And then you're out there spreading a little bit to Watertown too, while you're all over the countryside, or almost the nation, really spreading out South Dakota and our lacrosse and all that. So I think that's always amazing when you highlight these groups. People don't always realize how often you guys are in other communities, and I'm sure they're asking, where are you from? Oh, Watertown. Okay, I saw your kids. And then they inevitably want to know more about you and all that. So.
Yeah. or especially when we host the tournament here, they come, they get to see Watertown, the nice community we are. They really appreciate, like, we do have probably one of the nicest complexes with the, indoor bathrooms at Anza, and it just reflects well on our community when we bring all those folks here from out of town, and we try to leave a good impression of Watertown for them. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. When we host the tournament, we try to make sure that, we have the information out about Watertown, and Visit Watertown's always so good about helping with any information. And we line up vendors to be out there too, little mobile vendors. So, they can either, quick grab a snack there or come into the town and check it out. So it's fun.
Yeah. Well, and you guys have, if they want to learn more, you got Watertown Lacrosse Club on Facebook. You do a good job of posting on there of what events you do have, or if you've got even special, something, the story comes out, or the photos are good so people can even kind of see what we're talking about too. And all sorts of stuff. So, and the website too, is that kind of where you go to register if you want to join?
Well, the link takes us to like a Sports Engine website.
Mm-hmm.
So Watertown Lacrosse doesn't have a website itself.
Okay.
We have Facebook, but yeah, take it to go there, click on the QR code or whatever, and then it'll take it to the Sports Engine, and it'll show you how to register for your USA Lacrosse and then Watertown Lacrosse.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you're watching, you'll see the QR code, so you can just scan that on your phone, and that'll take you right to where they are. And then we'll have more visits with you guys too, to kind of do some recaps and learn more. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more questions, but is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on?
I do want to mention too that, you don't have to go out and buy all the equipment right away when you're starting them out. We do have equipment available. Once they're older, they like to have their own equipment, but bring your 10-year-old out, 11, 12, and we can help.
Yeah.
So, and then we have uniforms and helmets, and it's
very good point, because that's something, you don't want to go maybe drop all that money and then a couple weeks later your kid's like back on the Xbox and I don't want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, this
You're
is
going.
again as a mom of a teenage boy. This is a great time to get him off that games for a couple of hours and out in the sun and the elements, and toughens them up a little.
Mm-hmm. I'd say, yeah, that sounds good.
And I would just add that I think we decided April 20th, we're going to have Try Lacrosse for free event essentially each night. So we'll practice again Monday, Tuesday, Thursday that week. So the 20th, 21st, and 23rd. And we'll talk about this again in future ones, but those are all going to be Try Lacrosse for free nights. So we'll have helmets, we'll have equipment if they want to come out and just try it out at their convenience. Just stop on out, check out the sport, and get a stick in your kids' hands and let them throw around a little bit. So
yeah, the hand-on's the best way for them to see if they like it. So you got to go and check it out in person.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Very cool. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. You guys good?
We're
good.
Thank you very
Thank you
much
for having us.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. Well, that's the president of the Watertown Lacrosse Club, Eric Scott. Thank you. Appreciate you coming in. And Christy Kallenberger, treasurer, mom.
Organizer.
Yeah. Organizer, food connoisseur. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate everything you do. So, we'll look forward to the next time we visit with you guys. We'll keep learning more, and hopefully we can get some more kids signed up, and maybe we'll get that South Dakota lacrosse team going.
Maybe we
Let's
can
do it.
get a couple little kids in here next time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. All right. Well, that'll do it for lacrosse today.